Out cold, but breathing. Give her a minute and take a look around. You like the fight game, Phelps?
I did a little boxing in the Marines. I found it a pretty humbling experience.
Fix you a sandwich, buddy? Corned beef and egg salad, 12 cents. Bologna and ham and cheese, 10.
It's strictly a mug's game. You'll like this fight, though. A plucky limey's about to take a beating from an up-and-coming Negro.
You sound pretty sure about the result.
I ought to be. I got $50 on the black kid. Let's get a ringside seat. That son of a bitch Hammond made a run for his dressing room. Let's find out what's going on.
God damn you, Albert! You get out here right now!
Step back! LAPD! What's going on?
That son of a bitch Hammond has jammed the door.
And who are you?
Carlo Arcaro, I'm his manager.
I'm his trainer.
Interesting attitude to have towards a victorious athlete.
Victorious? We had an arrangement. We had a goddamn arrangement!
That limey bastard was paid to take a nap. He reneged.
And you were out of pocket?
Damn right. Me and a couple of hundred other people.
Stand aside.
He squeezed out the window. I'll put an APB out on him.
Why would we do that? He won the fight fair and square.
To prevent him from getting clipped. He was paid to flop. There was big money riding on this
So are we
fight.
here because you lost money or because we're investigating a prize-fighting racket?
Very funny. Look around and see what you can find. Which is Hammond's locker?
Over by the pinboard, second from the end.
Not sure this means much.
You look troubled.
I'm in a jam, Doctor.
Can I help, Courtney? Is it money?
No, Doctor. That's okay. Do I have your professional confidence?
Whatever you say, we'll never leave this room.
I talked some of the guys in my old unit into doing something, and it's gone wrong. I guess I did it for the wrong reasons, for short-term gain. We came home from China on the Cool Bridge.
The morphine robbery.
That was us. I thought I could get the guys a fair share. some sort of benefit for the sacrifices that they made in the war. Those guys deserve it, Doctor.
Oh, I'm sure they do, Courtney. But the deserving aren't always rewarded.
Tell me about it, Doc. We shifted our stuff onto this mob-connected guy, and it's been turning up all over town. It wasn't meant to be like this.
The presumption was rather naive, Courtney.
I know that now, Doctor. But people are dying.
Might I venture a few questions?
Sure.
Do your underworld contacts have all the morphine?
No, they don't. We doled it out, hoping we could control it.
Are they pressing you for further allocation?
That's the polite way of putting it, Doctor.
I may be able to help you, Courtney.
Thanks, Doc. It helps just to talk about it.
I mean, I have a solution that will help you financially and salve your conscience.
I'm all ears, Doctor.
I will transact to take all the narcotic off your hands. And you can rest assured that it will all be medically administered. I will use the funds that I no longer require for the purchase of medication and invest them in housing developments.
Housing?
The developments in question are housing projects for former servicemen. Your return will come from the sale of the properties, and your investment will benefit those that you care for most. Does this arrangement meet with your approval?
You're a magician, Doctor.
You look troubled.
I'm in a jam, Doctor.
Can I help, Courtney? Is it money?
No, Doctor. That's okay. Do I have your professional confidence?
You say we'll never. Room.
I talked some of the guys in my old unit into doing something, and it's gone wrong. I guess I did it for the wrong reasons, for short-term gain. We came home from China on the Cool Ridge.
The morphine robbery.
That was us. I thought I could get the guys a fair share. Some sort of benefit for the sacrifices that they made in the war. Those guys deserve it, Doctor.
Oh, I'm sure they do, Courtney. But the deserving aren't always rewarded.
Tell me about it, Doc. We shifted our stuff onto this mob-connected guy, and it's been turning up all over town. It wasn't meant to be like this.
The presumption was rather naive, Courtney.
I know that now, Doctor. But people are dying.
Might I venture a few questions?
Sure.
Do your underworld contacts have all the morphine?
No, they don't. We doled it out, hoping we could control it.
Are they pressing you for further allocation?
That's the polite way of putting it, Doctor.
I may be able to help you, Courtney.
Thanks, Doc. It helps just to talk about it.
I mean, I have a solution that will help you financially and salve your conscience.
I'm all ears, Doctor.
I will transact to take all the narcotic off your hands. And you can rest assured that it will all be medically administered. I will use the funds that I no longer require for the purchase of medication and invest them in housing developments.
Housing?
The developments in question are housing projects for former servicemen. Your return will come from the sale of the properties, and your investment will benefit those that you care for most. Does this arrangement meet with your approval?
You're a magician, Doctor.
There's a phone number we can run by R&I, plus a bunch of names and odds. You're not the only one who likes a flutter, Roy.
You better find that cocksucker and you bring him to me.
I feel bad too, Mickey. He guaranteed me he would take the flop.
I guarantee that you will be fish food if you don't bring me... Roy, you out of pocket too?
Mickey? Seems that way.
Don't worry about it. My boys are out looking for him.
Well, you'd better call them off. This is a police matter now. If anything happens to Hammond, I'll testify that you made threats against him.
Who's the Greyhound? He's a frisky one, isn't he?
Cole Phelps? Mickey Cohen.
I know who he is, Roy. I, met his brother-in-law.
I think you had the mixture pretty scared back there.
Phelps, 1247.
How can I help, Detective?
I need an address for the following phone number. AL345.
The address for the phone number is the Hotel L.A Noire, 6294 Leland Way, Hollywood.
Thank you. You know the place?
Flop house. Quarter a night, no questions asked.
You know the way. You can drive.
Do we know where we're going?
You seem to have a pretty cozy relationship with Cohen and Stompanato.
Do I note a hint of reprimand in your tone, Detective? Talking to gangsters comes with the turf. You should try out Mickey's place. He's got a haberdasher's up on Sunset. See if he can get you out of those old man's clothes that you slink around in.
It's a front for his illegal activities.
It is that, but he does carry some very sharp suits.
If it's okay with you, I'll stick with Brooks Brothers.
Wake up, Cole.
Yeah, what do you want?
LAPD. We're making inquiries into the whereabouts of an Albert Hammond.
No one here by that name.
You sure?
Sure, I'm sure. This isn't the sort of place where people use their real names. Take a look at the register if you don't believe me.
That's the guy from the papers. Solved that big case. One nice thing about ego trips, they don't talk about other people.
Okay, so look for prominent Tommies. That should narrow it down.
Hey, fuck you, asshole! Hey, don't mind me.
Winston Churchill. A very patriotic Englishman is staying in room 207.
The old bulldog. Even at a flop house, Adley can't get out from his shadow.
I survived the war for this? Ah.
Door's unlocked. Looks like he's had a broad up here.
I guess a fighter has plenty of time on his hands between bouts. Does Albert have somebody special? I didn't see anyone in his corner at the fight.
Instaheat. Adrian Black's product of choice. Seems like a lifetime ago.
Candy has expensive taste. Albert has his work cut out for him.
Who's Candy?
Candy Edwards, the lady who filled out this coupon. Looks like Albert has been doing some homework. 11 grand would be a nice little nest egg.
All right, let's go after his girl. See if that gets us any closer.
He must be heading home. You know, I hope he makes it.
That crooked son of a bitch? No chance.
Incidental.
All right, let's go after his girl. See if that gets us any closer.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
So, you boxed in the Marines?
We all did. Standard training.
I can't imagine you ever played dirty.
The only prize for taking a fall was 1,000 push-ups.
We need to know which room is Candy's.
She stares at orange.
Can I help you?
LAPD, ma'am. We're looking for Candy Edwards.
Apartment 7. You take the outside stairs by the parking lot and turn left at the top. You friends of the Italian guy?
Italian guy?
Yeah. Sleazy type? Gave his name as Carlo. I didn't like the look of him, but Candy has some funny friends.
Thanks.
This Candy broad must be as sweet as she sounds. All these gentlemen callers.
Is somebody gonna tell us what the hell is going on?
Give it up,
Sounds
bitch.
like we're missing all the
He's gone
fun.
fuck
Get in
both
there,
of us,
Phelps.
and you know where he's hiding. Now tell me where he is before I cut you.
I told you I haven't seen him.
Like hitting women, do you?
This isn't going to end well for you, friend. Out cold, but breathing. Give her a minute and take a look around.
Nasty weapon.
All the Italians carry them. A real man uses his fists or a gun.
Carlo here seems to have the same friends as Hammond. What are the odds on them all being bookmakers? She's leaving town. Single ticket, one way. I guess there isn't a lot for Albert in Ohio. Scania sails from New York. Take a seat, Miss Edwards. We have some questions for you to answer.
Look, I haven't done anything wrong.
Ever? I find that pretty hard to believe.
Can you answer some questions now, Miss Edwards?
Sure, I've had worse. I'll shake it off.
We're trying to track down Albert Hammond. We have reason to believe he might be in danger. Do you know where he is?
No, I don't. I'm over Albert. I haven't seen him.
You're lying, Candy. You were in his hotel room. He came back after the fight and you weren't there. What happened?
You can't prove that I was in the room.
How do you think we found you, Candy? You wrote your name and address on a coupon.
Look, Albert was supposed to take a fall. We were all supposed to make a little money out of it. But Albert got too goddamn stubborn. Said his pride was all he had left. So I told him, shove it. Let's see his pride keep him warm at night.
So you walked out before the fight?
Yes, I did. What's the problem? I didn't take anything.
You're leaving town, Miss Edwards?
Yes, I'm going straight home.
You're lying to me. Albert finally won a big fight. I say good luck to him. But you know where he is. Let me help him, Candy.
Do all you cops run off at the mouth? Prove I know where he is. I don't know where he is, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
Do the names Harry, Mervyn, or Ray mean anything to you?
Could be anybody. How the hell would I know?
They're bookmakers, aren't they? Tell me the truth.
How the hell would I know?
Albert wrote his winnings down on a notepad in the hotel room. We found the odds in his locker. Who has the betting slips?
That son of a bitch, Albert. Everyone thought he was dumb, including me. But he beat them all.
Do you want to press charges against Arcaro?
Just get him out of here. That's all I want.
Get out, Carlo, you hump. And get rid of that pig sticker. You ever pull that thing on me, I'll shoot you like a dog.
That bitch knows where Hammond is. She knows where my money's gone.
My money too, tough guy. I'll handle this.
Good luck, Miss Edwards. I hope things work out for you.
Thank you. It's very kind of you to say so.
Bad people are looking to hurt Candy, and yet she's not heading straight for the train station? I smell a payoff. I say stake her out. See where she goes. Tail this broad. Don't let her get away, but don't get spotted. I'll bring up the car behind you. Tail this broad. Don't let her get away, but don't get spotted. I'll bring up the car behind you. Tail this broad. Don't let her get away, but don't get spotted. I'll bring up the car behind you. Tail this broad. Don't let her get away, but don't get spotted. I'll bring up the car behind you.
Slow down.
Too much slack. Gotta get closer.
Bookmakers?
Yes. Surprise, surprise.
Papers. He's
A blonde woman just came in here.
She went out the back way. Said she was being watched.
How much did she collect?
$3,600. She cleaned me out.
On the Hammond Kid Galahad fight?
You got it. I'm not complaining. We all made a lot of money on that one. Huge plunge on Galahad, and then Hammond knocks the bum out.
So she collected the money and went out through the back door?
Nope. She made a phone call over there, wrote something on a notepad, and then left.
What are you doing?
An old intelligence trick from the Marines. We know where she's headed. Let's get moving. You can drive.
Fine. Where are we headed?
Car 11K, 11 King. Further to your request, Bunko Fraud has 3 known bookmakers operating out of storefronts in the Hollywood area. Thrifty Liquor, 6106 Santa Monica, the Examiner Drugstore, and a Max Spirits at 1658 North Cherokee. KGPL clear.
Detectives Phelps and Earl, LAPD.
Relax, Cole. You just have a blonde in here, Mervyn?
Sure did. I'm just about to close up. She took me to the cleaners. 4,000 clams and change.
How long ago did she leave?
Maybe 5 minutes. Called a cab. Asked for a number. I told her there was a card over there by the phone.
Yellow cab. We need to get after her, fast. Operator, give me dispatch.
Putting you through now.
Can you connect me to the Yellow Cab Company? Hollywood 2187, please. This is Detective Phelps, LAPD. You dispatched a cab to 1487 Ivar Avenue, Hollywood?
Yes, sir. Sent 1 round from the pool.
Do you have the number of that cab?
Number 179.
Thanks.
We're done playing around. Get Mervyn to give us an address on Ray's place.
You have any idea who Ray is?
Sugar Ray.
Not now, Mervyn. Cole doesn't have much of a sense of humor at the best of times.
Ray runs a shop up on North Cherokee Avenue, just south of Hollywood Boulevard.
You're behind the wheel.
All right, where to?
Hammond backed himself to win.
And Candy is picking up the winnings. Smart play.
Question is Candy collecting on Albert's behalf, or is she cheating him too?
That's the cab waiting up ahead. She's not in the car. Don't get too close.
She must be inside.
We're on the move again, Cole. After her. Don't lose that cab. Hammond is over the hill. He's a punching bag for the up-and-comers. Should know his goddamn place.
I think he knows. I think he worked out the place isn't L.A.
He's punchy. His brain's going to mush. Winston Churchill? Give me a break.
Churchill is a fighter, Roy. Hammond didn't just scribble down the first name he could think of.
Great idea, Cole. Why don't you just dance in front of his windshield as well?
You got a pretty funny idea of what keeping a low profile means, Phelps. Too close, Phelps. Way too close.
That bitch is giving me what I'm owed. That's all I know.
Can you quit driving like a jackass already? Pull over. She's heading inside. I think I just saw Hammond. I'll tail him. You get in there and stay with Candy. Make sure you don't let her see you.
Hey! Fuck you! I swear, this town is going straight to hell. You got a problem, pal?
That's that cop. Seems like a decent guy. This guy must...
Call an ambulance.
Hammond got away.
He said...
Just try and sit still, Candy. Who shot you? Was it Albert?
Car.
They're on the way. I have a patrolman searching the depot. The chief's putting together a manhunt for Hammond. He got the money, right?
Looks like it.
A tough bird, our limey friend. Using his girlfriend as the bag woman and then getting greedy over the split. He won't make it out of town.
That's how you see it?
I told you that cocksucker was a crook.
.32 caliber. One shot fired. The Egyptian Theater.
So, what now?
The theater, I guess. We don't have much else to go on.
poor girl. She didn't deserve that.
Poor girl. Half the precinct aren't taking a vacation this year because of her. You need to leave town a lot quicker than that if you decide to screw over Mickey C.
This seems like a long shot. Aren't they all?
Car 11K, Car 11 King, come in.
Car 11 King.
Message from the coroner. The cause of death was a knife wound. Repeat, a knife wound. The revolver appears to have belonged to the victim.
Son of a
KGB all clear.
bitch. He stabbed her.
I thought you said real men use their fists, not guns.
That guinea cocksucker. You think he got the money, too?
Come on, Roy. We're bringing this whole tragedy to its conclusion.
Why'd you kill her, Carlo? Your gripe was with me.
She was collecting the money for you. Mickey made it clear it was either me or you, and I intend to keep on living.
She stole those betting slips. She was running out on me.
And you were gonna let her?
No, I let her collect. I set her up, just like she set me up. Just like my manager set me up. Everyone wanted me to take a dive. Everyone wanted me to take the short money. It's for the best, kid.
You were washed up, kid! You couldn't climb, and you were too brave to sink. You were going nowhere!
Maybe, but I had heart. I was a Royal Marine, Carlo. If I lost a fight, it wasn't for lack of trying, and it wasn't for lack of courage. I didn't have much, but I had that.
I did it for you, and that's how you repay me!
You did it for yourself, and so did little boy. You did it to make a quick buck, and Candy did it to make her dream come true.
Blah, blah, blah. I've got the money, all I need to do is get rid of you. It's gonna be a shame, kid, but that's business.
We've heard enough, Arcaro. Put down your weapon.
You're making a big mistake, Arcaro. Throw out the guns. Keep moving. Space here. Where are you? You limey cocksucker.
It's time to come out now, Hammond. Put the gun down, Roy.
That son of a bitch owes me a lot of money.
Catch. Escania sails from New York, Hammond. Be on the next train and don't ever come back.
Why?
Because I was a Marine and I once lacked courage. Everyone deserves a second chance. Now beat it.
Fuck you! That English prick is getting away with my money, Phelps!
Donnelly and the homicide squad send their best, Phelps. They're more than pleased that you wrapped up the Edwards killing. They're a little mystified about the motive. You have any ideas on that?
Crime of passion, sir. Looks like some sort of love triangle between the manager, the fighter, and his girlfriend.
No sign of the scrapper?
No, sir. Looks like he left town after the fight.
Okay. It's homicide's problem now. Good work, gentlemen. .187 at 5810 Murata Avenue. Homicide wants you over there. The coroner thinks the broad was whacked using the army morphine. Don't say anything, Roy. Just get over there.
I want to make
What's with that getup of yours anyway? I should start introducing us as Detective Earl, and this is my science teacher, Mr. Phelps.
Your interest in my appearance is starting to get me worrying.
Like it or not, we're a dysfunctional couple now. People judge me with you on my arm same way they would a fat broad with a 5 o'clock shadow.
I really hope you're joking, Roy.
He's the cop who arrested her.
Can you drive to this one? Seem distracted?
You idiot!
We recovered the morphine. Some of it might be unaccounted for, so what? That's life. We did our job.
Closing one case opens another.
Do you have any idea what is really going on while we're wasting our time following this stuff?
Thank God we're not in my car.
Are you going to tell me?
The deals being done right now will change the face of L.A. forever, and we're wasting our time on some hump.
Someone's little...
Are you crazy?
Visit the morgue at the end of the month when the John and Jane Does are cremated. Their percentages. The odds for and against lightning striking.
Second floor, apartment 6, in the back.
Thanks. Bukowski, you made homicide.
That I did.
Good to see you, Phelps.
You two want a hug? Or can we get on with it?
Relax, Rusty.
26 years old, fashion model. Found in the tub by the cleaning lady, Mrs. Reynoldson. She called it in.
We heard Carruthers thinks...
Carruthers likes to make work for people. Overdose of sleeping pills. Falls asleep in the tub. Rest in peace. Case closed.
Here, here. Mal is 100% that it's murder.
Do you mind if I take a look around?
Sure. Go right ahead. Phelps?
Mal, we've had a look around. Rusty thinks it's a waste of time. What's your theory?
Come on, Mal. Tell us why we were dragged down here.
If the victim was alive when she entered the tub, water would have entered her lungs. The water is violently churned in the windpipe as she drowns. The result is that a lot of foam is generated. This foam is found at the mouth and nostrils in almost all cases of real drowning. Notice anything about our Vic?
May I took a look?
Be my guest.
Take a closer look at her head and neck.
Her neck is bruised pretty badly. Bruising on the forearms, and these look like bite marks.
Very good.
A very unusual ring.
I could be wrong, but it looks like a black sapphire. The eyes are a classic sign of morphine, and the bruises tell their own story. I think one man held her down and another held her arm and injected her. They put her in the bath to try to cover it as a drowning.
And spread a trail of barbiturates.
Take a look around outside on your way out and see if you can find the syrettes. It would make my theory.
And morphine would have been very quick, and there wouldn't have been much of a struggle.
Okay, so find two guys who recently bought syrettes and weren't junkies, and you might be onto something.
Doesn't tell me anything. Looks like barbiturates. Barbiturates. What else is rattling around in this thing? We should speak to a doctor. Prescribing both drugs would make her life a roller coaster. Quality English smoking jacket. I don't know anyone under 45 who would wear one. This is all top end of town stuff. Gives us somewhere to look. Beautiful girl. Her clothes certainly aren't from the Sears catalog. There's been a modeling assignment. It's a place to start. I'm Detective Phelps. I'm here to try and help Julia. Do you mind answering some questions?
Virginia Reynoldson, I'm just so shocked. I feel like there's something I should be doing, someone I should call.
We can make those calls, ma'am. Who needs to be notified?
That's just it. I don't know. Miss Julie doesn't have any family in town. Someone has to set her affairs in order. Mr. Henderson, maybe? Who else is there? I don't know.
If you give the details to the other detectives, ma'am, they can try and get in contact. What was it like working for Miss Randall?
Perfectly fine, officer.
Do you do the housekeeping on a regular basis?
Twice a week since Miss Julie moved here from New York.
Was Miss Randall depressed about something? Upset?
No more than normal.
What are you hiding here, Mrs. Reynoldson? Julia was obviously disturbed about something.
I have no idea what you're talking about. If you were any kind of a detective, you wouldn't be trying to blame all this on Miss Julia.
Did Miss Randall have many friends visit?
I'm not sure. I only come around twice a week.
Men friends, Mrs. Reynoldson. Spill it.
I will not spread gossip about Miss Julia. She was very nice to me.
I don't care if she was the Virgin Mary sister. Who was she humping? You changed the sheets.
You're disgusting. If you're going to take that tone, I won't answer any more questions.
I know you're trying to protect Julia, Mrs. Reynoldson, but it won't help us solve the case. Julia can't be hurt anymore. on, Rusty. We'll take a look around outside and then follow up these leads. Can you get some guys to run down the jacket?
You think Carruthers has called it right?
He rarely gets it wrong.
I don't know. I'm with Galloway. I've met enough girls in my time who can't handle their dope.
Mal will be pleased.
Well, that's hardly conclusive, given the number of those things we've come across recently.
The autopsy will confirm it one way or another.
I think our work is done here.
You know the way. You can drive.
Where are we going?
Bukowski, Galloway, quite the little reunion in there. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
They're good police.
How would you know? You got promoted so fast you barely had time to learn their names. Let me fill you in. Bukowski's a pushover. Galloway's a drunk.
You could learn a thing or two from both of them.
Please. They couldn't work a vice case if their life depended on it.
I don't see why they'd be any better or worse at it than me.
I noticed you said better. Hubris disguised as humility. Kind of your trademark, don't you think?
Why do you always twist everything? Galloway's got nothing to prove. He's been on homicide for years.
And he's welcome to it. You're a terrier, Phelps, and that's what I need. Not some old bulldog who can't get up a flight of stairs without coughing up his lunch.
Here, Stoneman, office 505.
I swear, if we locked up every doctor in this town, Vice would be able to work half days.
Yes, sir, your name?
LAPD. We'd like to see Dr. Stoneman.
Dr. Stoneman is with a patient. Would you like to wait?
No, we wouldn't. Tell him we want to see him now.
There's no need to be rude.
Save it, sister.
Dr. Stoneman, I have some gentlemen from the LAPD here to see you.
Send them in, please. I'll see this patient again after they've left.
Your investigation is much more important than my sciatica. I'm just in pain here. Leave me alone.
Dr. Stoneman, we are investigating the death of one of your patients, Julia Randall.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Do you mind if we ask you some questions about Ms. Randall?
Not if it doesn't compromise doctor-patient privilege, Detective.
How well did you know Miss Randall?
Barely at all. She'd only been a patient 6 months or so.
Julia Randall has been your patient for nearly a year. I'm sure you know that.
Do you doubt my veracity, Detective? Do you have access to my patient records?
Your prescriptions contradict you, Doctor.
Miss Randall was in the fashion business, as you probably know. She was jumped up on Benzedrine by day and knocked down by sleeping pills at night. I told her to slow up, but no. Life was too short for her.
And you supplied the prescription for the Benzedrine?
It's not illegal, Detective. A lot of young women in her line of work use it for weight loss.
You wrote Julia Randall a prescription for Benzedrine. How can you account for that?
Miss Randall was in the fashion business. She wanted to control her weight.
We believe Miss Randall died of an overdose of morphine. You didn't prescribe her anything else, did you?
That is a very serious allegation to level at a doctor, young man. I am well aware of what is prescribed under the Harrison Act, Detective. If you wish to make any other ridiculous accusations, I suggest you direct them to my attorney.
That'll be all for now, Dr. Stoneman. We'll be in touch.
The old boy's lying.
About what?
I don't know. He looked relieved when you said she was dead. It's a strange reaction to have to the death of a young patient.
You can drive.
Do we know where we're going?
Have you noticed how croakers only pull out the physician-patient privilege card when they got something to hide?
There are certain things people have a right to keep private.
Until it gets in the way of police work. And it's only private when it suits them. A couple of drinks and every doctor I've met will spill your darkest secrets in a heartbeat.
Well, hello. What can I help you with today?
You look like you were a big
I'm
pain in
stumped.
the neck.
Ideas?
Now I have a much lower opinion.
LAPD, ma'am.
I hope I haven't done anything wrong.
No, ma'am. We're making some inquiries about Julia Randall. Does she work here?
No, I had to let her go. Is she in some sort of trouble?
She was found dead this morning. How long had Julia worked as a model?
Well, she worked in New York before coming here. She was a very beautiful girl.
You weren't as shocked as someone normally is when told about a murder, ma'am. Is there something about Julia you want to tell me?
You're accusing me of lying? How dare you? What basis do you have for this kind of accusation? Julia was incredibly ambitious. So am I. You have to be to run your own business. Julia's problem was she would cut any corner to get ahead. Life isn't like that. I guess she found out the hard way.
Did she have any close friends here?
Actually, yes. Heather Swanson. Would you like to speak with her?
I'd like that very much. Please don't inform her about Miss Randall's death.
Very well, officer. Heather, these gentlemen are from the LAPD.
I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. I understand that you worked with Julia Randall, Miss Swanson?
Yes. Julia helped me get my job here. She's not in any kind of trouble, is she?
She's a hellraiser, isn't she? Lives a fast life.
Oh, no. Maybe Mrs. Stanley would call her that, but I wouldn't. She's full of life, wonderful company.
That's a lovely engagement ring.
Do you like it? Henry gave it to
I'm
me.
very interested in engagement rings. Do you mind if I take a closer look? That's some pearl, Miss Swanson. Would have cost Henry a fortune. He must really love you. How did you meet Julia?
I was introduced through my fiancé, Henry Arnett.
You know that Julia was using drugs?
A lot of girls in this business do. They keep you alert and kill your appetite. I'm against it, personally.
Are Miss Randall and Mr. Henderson engaged?
Who's he?
Julia was kept by this Henderson character. The apartment, the clothes, the jewelry. Was she a call girl?
How would I know? What evidence is there that says that Julia is a prostitute? If Julia is hard, it's because of her background. To put it politely, she was quite poor. But a call girl? I think that that's ridiculous, quite frankly.
That's all for now, Miss Swanson. Could you ask your fiancé to visit Hollywood Police Station? It would be very helpful to our inquiry.
Now, wait a moment. I don't think I'll pass on that message until you tell me why you're asking all these questions.
Julia Randall was found dead this morning.
What? Oh, no. Oh, I can't believe it. She was so full of life.
Phelps, badge 1247. Messages, please.
Yes, Detective. The coroner's been asking to speak to you. I can connect the call if you like.
Please, thank you. Al?
Cole, can you get over here? I just finished the autopsy.
Sure thing, Mal. We'll be right over. You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Fine. Where are we headed?
Nice move not telling old Sweet Lips in there about her friend taking the big jump till we were half out the door. Very slick.
I figured we'd get more out of her that way.
You're learning, Phelps. We'll make a vice cop out of you yet.
Solved a big case and got promoted?
Cole, Roy, I have some information for you.
You're the only person enjoying this, Mal. Get on with it.
The bruising confirms 2 sets of hands, so we have 2 killers. Death was caused by heart failure due to an overdose of morphine.
Have you dragged us down here to gloat? We already heard your theory.
We agree that she was murdered.
Yes, of course.
I have something else to show you.
All right, Mal, what gives?
The dead guy's name is Jimmy LeBlanc, career burglar. He came in this morning. Someone stove his head in with a lump of 2x4.
So what? Good riddance.
I found 2 syrettes in his jacket pocket.
Wow.
Hang on a minute, Roy. We're listening, Mal.
No sign of morphine use and no metabolized morphine in his blood. Scratch marks on his face.
Which could be from getting his head remodeled.
Time of death, Mal.
Maybe an hour or 2 after the Randall girl.
So you're saying Laughing Boy here could be one of our killers? That's a hell of a long shot.
Thanks, Mal. We'll check it out.
I found something else.
Sorry, I don't play.
I don't know if it's significant. His wallet was empty. The only other things he was carrying were the harmonica and the morphine. Carruthers. Yeah, he's here. I'll send him over. They have a guy called Henry Arnett in interview 2 for you next door. Let me know how you get on.
Sure, Mal. And thanks for the lead.
Sure, Mal. Thanks for the lead.
I'm going to memorize your name. I just wish you'd hurry up.
Arnett is in interview too, Phelps. Go help him get whatever it is off his chest.
Seems like a nice boy.
Mr. Arnett, I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. Thanks for coming in.
Call me Henry. It's the least I could do. Terrible news about Julia.
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally modeled for me.
And you were close?
We were friends.
Miss Randall's landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
Henry, I don't like when people lie to me. She was seeing a man named Henderson. You know who I'm talking about.
Easy on, Detective. I may have heard of Henderson, but I don't know his full name. I think he's from New York or someplace back east. I'm here of my own free will, Detective. I'm doing my best to be helpful. The last thing I'd want to do is lie.
Ever heard of a Jimmy LeBlanc?
No. Should I have? Is he an entertainer or something?
So you wouldn't have any reason to believe that LeBlanc would be involved in Julie Randall's murder?
If this guy is a criminal, he might have been involved. But like I said, I've never heard of this LeBlanc character.
Heather told us that you were in fashion.
That's right.
He ran the light on Olympic, and we finally collared him on Temple.
Some kind of traveling salesman?
Once I got out of the Corps, I used my...
You were in the Marines?
Sure. I'm proud of it. Fighting 6th.
You were in the 6th Marines?
Yes. I was a captain.
Which company?
Various companies. We had a lot of casualties.
Which engagements?
Okinawa. A couple of other places.
That will be all for now, Henry. You've been very helpful.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy LeBlanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
He's in that car at the lights.
He was squirming like a worm in there. Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Oh, there you go.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy LeBlanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
He's in that car at the lights.
He was squirming like a worm in there. Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Actually, maybe you don't.
God damn it. Everyone's looking at us, Cole.
I'd have expected a cad like Arnett to be a better liar.
Where are you taking us, Henry?
Careful, we'll get spotted at this distance.
That idiot never stepped foot in Okinawa.
He needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
Too much slack. Gotta get closer.
What are you doing?
He needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
Too much slack. He needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
Too much slack. Gotta get closer. needs money and fast. Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him, see how he intends to spend the money. Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
That's right, Mexico City. One-way ticket, please. Next available seat.
That would be 1 day from now. Is that okay?
It's going to have to be.
LAPD, the man who just came in here, he bought a ticket?
Yes, sir, to Mexico City, tomorrow night.
If you hear from him again, don't mention this conversation.
What have you got?
He bought a ticket from Mexico City. Tomorrow night.
That's good. But this is better.
My God. It's Fabergé.
Should have seen the look on the pawnbroker's face when I told him to hand it over. The guy who owned the joint thought it was worth at least 10 large for a cigarette case. Arnett only got 600 clams.
You're behind the wheel.
All right, where to?
Car 11K, Car 11 King, come in. Car 11K, 11 King, come in.
Go ahead, KGPL.
11K, go to Hollywood Station. Homicide detectives Bukowski and Galloway have information relating to the Randall case.
Roger, KGPL. 11K, en route.
Car 11K, Car 11 King, come in.
Car 11 King, go ahead.
R&I reports the last arresting officer for DOA Jimmy LeBlanc was Patrolman Fred Wallace, who's working a shift on Hollywood 9th Beat, Sunset Boulevard between Gordon and Wilcox.
Car 11K, en route.
Sir, I need the contraband list. Items stolen over the last year.
Hang on, I'll dig out a copy for you. Here you go.
Thanks.
Is the cigarette case on there?
It's here. Arnett must be out of his mind trying to move this while under a murder cloud.
Julia Randall's ring. It's here.
You can drive.
Where are we going? Nice house.
LAPD, ma'am. Is Mrs. Eavestrom in?
She is. Would you follow me, sir?
I am Mrs. Eavestrom. How may I help you?
We appear to have recovered some stolen goods that belong to you, ma'am.
Yes, of course. That terrible burglary. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you, ma'am. We have some questions, if you don't mind.
Why would I mind, young man, if you are returning 43 pieces of my property?
Okay, before we get down to that, I'll have a scotch. Thanks, straight up.
Maria, can you get the detective a drink, please?
Can you describe to us what was stolen?
It would be easier to describe what wasn't stolen, Detective. A priceless tiara that has been in the family for 50 years. A Fabergé cigarette case that was worth $25,000.
Why are you lying about the value of your jewelry, Mrs. Eavestrom?
Who do you think you are, making heinous accusations in my own home?
We recovered the cigarette case from a pawnbroker. No one knows the real value of an item better than those guys.
I inflated its value for the insurance claim. There. Are you satisfied? My daughter's boyfriend was quite taken with the case. I think he was even more disappointed than I was when it was stolen.
What can you tell us about the burglary?
That terrible night, at least a year ago. But let's not go into that. Let's talk about what you've recovered.
I think you know more about this burglary than you were letting on, Mrs. Eavestrom. There isn't an insurance claim involved, is there?
Are you accusing me of having my own home burgled? How dare you? What possible proof do you have for this scandalous remark? I would appreciate it if your friend finished his drink and the two of you left.
That's about it for now, Mrs. Eastrom. The department will get in touch and let you know how you can recover your valuables.
You have only mentioned a few of the items that have been stolen, Detective. What else has been recovered?
You see, Phelps? That's why you get the drinks in early.
Hello, Mother. Hello, detectives. What is going on?
We'd like to ask exactly the same question.
You have met my daughter?
This morning at work. Oh, mother and father divorced. I took my father's name.
The detectives recovered some of the things that were stolen, darling.
Well, what did you find?
A sapphire ring on the corpse of Julia Randall.
What are you talking about?
Your engagement ring, Miss Swanson. Would you be surprised to know that it was part of the proceeds of a burglary?
That's an outrageous allegation!
Yes, it is. I suggest we go straight to Henry Arnett's place and sort this mess out. We're missing something here.
Christ!
We're missing something here. Arnett is obviously arranging the burglaries.
That's my fiancé you're making scurrilous accusations about.
And Randall was obviously his partner.
But neither of them are the type to creep apartments.
You're being ridiculous. Both of you. There's a very good explanation for all of this.
Put a sock in it, sister. You're being played for a patsy and you're not even smart enough to see it.
KGPL calling car 11K. 11K in commit. 11K, message from Detective Bukowski. Murder victim Jimmy LeBlanc's record shows he most often worked with an accomplice. Caucasian male, approximately 6'2", 220 pounds, heavily built, known only as Willie.
There goes a week's wages! Open your eyes! What are you doing? Goddamn maniac!
If you want instructions on how to wipe your ass, you let me know.
Can't we talk about this?
Come on, sister. Let's find out who your fiance really is.
Welcome, sir. I'm sorry, are you a resident?
LAPD detectives. We're here to speak to Henry Arnett.
Oh, Mr. Arnett? Apartment 30. You can take the lift.
Thank you.
Well, isn't this just nice and awkward?
Stop! LAPD!
Don't kill him, Cole. This guy's our case.
Go on.
Put your hands in the air! Give it up! LAPD! Don't make...
Looks like he got you good, Phelps.
Yeah, he really packs a wallop. How did I get back here?
Under your own steam, miraculously. You came in through the window, said hello, and then keeled over.
How was Arnett?
He's coming round, too. He's all hopped up. Good time to get some answers.
You missing something, Henry?
Junk. Don't think this is any use to us. It would take a smarter man than me to connect that. Circumstantial. I don't think this is going to help us.
We know all about the jewelry ring. You and Randall and LeBlanc and Willie doing the legwork.
I'm in the fashion business.
You're lying, Henry.
How can you prove that I'm involved, detective? I thought as much. Shouldn't you be calling me an ambulance or something?
Why did Reed and LeBlanc kill Julia Randall?
I wanted to stop, to get out of that life. I was going to marry Heather if she'd have me. Julia told the others that they were out, that she was going to create a new gang.
But why kill her?
She always looked down on those two. When she told them that she was cutting them out, they swore to get even with her.
Who is Henderson, and what is his involvement?
Tell them what you know, Henry. I'll stand by you if you'll only tell the truth.
There is no Henderson.
Tell me about your first burglary, and don't lie.
I can't remember. I don't keep a list of these things.
You're off the hook, for now. Give it up, Arnett. You're facing the gas chamber. Give the judge some reason to commute.
You still don't get it, do you? Julia entrapped everyone. She was so beautiful and so goddamn cold.
Henry Arnett, you are under arrest for burglary and for the murder of Julia Randall.
Henderson is Stoneman, all right? I'm not the guy you want. Go talk to the good doctor.
Oh, we will, knucklehead. Meanwhile, we're fitting you for convict stripes.
You know the way. You can drive.
Fine. Where are we headed?
I guess the wedding's off.
He only robbed her mother and killed her best friend. Cut the guy some slack.
So how does the doctor fit in?
That's what we're about to find out. Maybe we should ask him to give you a quick once-over. That meathead gave you one hell of a pasting.
I've had worse.
You should have seen yourself staggering back in there like a drunken sailor.
Next time you can take the runner, Roy.
I didn't box in the Marines, though, did I?
I should have never told you that.
Time for the doctor to give us something to make this all better.
Hang on a moment, sister. Tell him it's Henry Arnett. And tell him it's urgent.
I can't do that.
Tell him, or I'll charge you with obstruction of justice.
Doctor, I'm afraid Mr. Arnett is here to see you, and he says it's urgent.
Send him in. I told you never to come.
Tell us the truth, Doctor.
I'm so glad you came. Prison will be better than insanity, and I'm already half insane with grief. Do you know that I loved her? I ruined my life for her, and yet I still love her.
Will you testify in court that Arnett and Randall did these robberies?
They organized the robberies. Julie would get the names of the guests attending my wife's parties. Didn't matter how much money I showered upon her, it was never enough. She never really cared for me.
Doctor, I'm afraid you're under arrest.
The practice. You'll call Dr. Gerard. No. Please don't cry. I want to see no one. Not my wife or my children, nor my friends. And I don't want a lawyer. Just lock me up and throw away the key. What have I done?
Didn't see that coming.
God. Operator, message for KGPL.
Putting you through now.
I need an ambulance and the coroner immediately to the offices of Dr. Harold Stoneman, 1646 Ivor Street, Hollywood.
En route, Detective. You have a message. Detective Bukowski says the suspect is named Wilson Willie the Wolf Reed, former wrestler. Last known address is an apartment building at the corner of Hollywood and Vine. Detective Bukowski says to meet them there.
On our way. We have an address for the runner.
Let's try and wrap this up then.
That old boy really fell for that broad.
She was incredibly beautiful.
Would you throw it all away for a woman?
Life has a way of making you pay for your pride.
You're quite the romantic, Phelps. Stick with the percentages. Broken hearts are for chumps.
You're talking from experience.
I certainly am. Oh, I like women as much as the next guy. As long as they're in their place and doing what they're told.
I've got friends that work with you. About $5. Let me through. I just want a quick look at all.
Thank God I didn't park there.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Do we know where we're going?
Can you drive to this one? You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
He's around here somewhere. A big guy. Neighbors say he always wears basketball shoes and a cream jacket. And get this. The kids around here say he plays the harmonica.
Find a game well and have the commander set up a dragnet. We want the area closed off. We'll take this side of the street.
A harmonica playing wrestler. That's a weird one. Think he knits as well?
Just keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. We don't want him to bolt on us.
Wait. Pull. You hear that? Wilson Reed, LAPD, give yourself up. Hold it. He's got to be around here somewhere. No place to go unless he grew wings. There he is! Waste the son of a bitch!
Son of a bitch really picked a spot for it up here, didn't he? Julia Randall's folks are flying in from New York tomorrow to claim the body. I saw her on the slab. So perfect. Looked like she was made of porcelain. She really made an impression on me.
Julia had that impact on a lot of men.
Christ, it's cold. You guys did good work here today. Roy, I think you should buy your brother officers a drink.
Do you now? That's very generous of you, Lieutenant.
We're being overrun. We have to get off of this hill. That's one of our 50 cals still firing, Cole. The 22nd are still fighting.
It's over, Cole. Looks like you're one of the lucky ones.
Say goodbye to your friend Hank, Jack.
He was your friend too, Cole. Is this how you're going to leave him? Are you wounded?
Not a scratch, Kelso.
Well, get up and get out of that fucking hole! Find a stretcher while you're at it so we can get him out of here.
Who's the senior officer here?
I guess that's you, Cole.
You were up here all night?
Yes, sir.
And your command?
Gone, sir.
Sorry to hear that, son. But God damn it, we have beaten these bastards back. It's the beginning of the end, and it was won here.
You're a goddamn hero, son. What's your name?
Lieutenant Phelps, sir.
I'm recommending you for the Silver Star and promoting you to first lieutenant.
Earl Phelps, a shooting at the 111 Club, 6232 Hollywood Boulevard.
Sounds like a homicide beef.
2 of the dead guys caught in the crossfire were carrying Army surplus morphine. Get over there before homicide tramples all over the place.
We already cleared that up.
Judge in Pasadena took the big sleep yesterday. He had a personal stash of 20 cigarettes. Appears we didn't get all of it.
I just don't know how to dance to bebop.
Find the goddamn evidence.
God damn it. Just can't seem to put this morphine to sleep.
A dead judge. It's not good.
Everyone has their vices. Even you, Phelps.
He could get fresh whenever he pleases.
Guy gave his wife a tap. I said,
You know the way. You can drive.
Parker and Green are going toe-to-toe for the top job. There's a change in the wind.
About time.
This wind will be like a tornado, Phelps. Parker's got a puritanical streak. You never know we'll get swept up in a thing like that.
Homicide guys are already inside.
Bukowski.
Phelps, back again.
We're here about the morphine.
Over by the bandstand. You can see what's left of the owner, Eddie McGoldrick, 26, former Marine.
I know Eddie McGoldrick. He was a non-com in my old unit.
I'm sorry to hear that, Cole. Waitress said he recently came into some money and bought the club.
Who are the other Vics?
2 musicians, Biddleston and Bo. And get this, they used to be in a 4-piece, but the trombone player and the drummer OD'd.
Don't tell me. Lamont and Tyree? We've met the rest of the band.
Now they're a no-piece.
Do you mind if we take a look around?
Be my guest. You might want a word with the hostess, too. I'll keep her company until you're ready.
Must have pumped a dozen rounds into him. Certainly sends a message.
When you're ready to have a civil conversation, we can try again.
Find anything interesting?
Well-maintained, custom case. Someone cared for this instrument. What's that click? Neat trick. The case must have cost more than the trumpet. We should follow up on the musician angle.
Catch all the
He kept his stash close at hand. Do we have a new source, or is this coming from what's left in circulation? Dozen packs to a carton, 100 cartons or more. Looks like a couple of months' supply. These look brand new. Never fired. They haven't been degreased yet. We could check on the serial numbers.
Is this guy hunting for bear? Look at these things.
They're BARs. You get the odd guy who sneaks one of them home from the war. How did he get 3 of them? Army surplus morphine, Army surplus weapons, Army surplus valors. Sound familiar?
We should get back to the...
Ma'am, I'm Detective Phelps, Administrative Vice Squad.
Welcome to the 111 Club, Detective. Feels like I've had half the LAPD in here today already.
Any idea who did the shooting?
No idea. It was my day off. If I had been here, honey, I'd be full of holes just like the others.
You want to level with me, miss, before we start taking an interest in you.
This place has been on the slide for years. Eddie turns up, buys the club, then we start getting visits from tough guys. Next thing you know, we have the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Are you getting the picture?
Tell us about Eddie.
Eddie didn't know a thing about running a nightclub. He came into some money and waltzed in and bought the place. The previous owner thought all his Christmases had come at once.
Where do you think he got the money?
My guess was that he was selling the sort of quality product that you don't need to advertise.
Thank you for your help, ma'am.
Eddie was in over his head, but he was a decent boss.
Army surplus morphine, Army surplus weapons, Army surplus valors. Sound familiar?
We should get back to the station and check the details of what exactly was lifted from that ship.
You're behind the wheel.
All right, where to?
Into a bar.
going on?
That fucking rat Stoker has gone public about Brenda.
Who is Brenda?
Brenda is L.A.'s most famous madam.
Everyone knows it?
Of course everyone knows. Brenda pays her way.
Are we cops or a collection agency?
Whores have been around since the Bible. Our job is to keep it off the street so Joe Citizen and his wife can stroll around unmolested.
Then we should change the law.
Are you out of your mind? Every politician in America is against prostitution, except when they're using them.
So where does Stoker come in?
He objects to the LAPD and the administration taking its cut.
Is everyone in on this?
Yeah, and that's the problem. From a little acorn does a large tree grow. He could bring the whole thing crashing down on us.
Aren't you supposed to be working,
Sir, do you know which robbery detectives are working the Army surplus theft from the Coolidge?
Caldwell and McManus? I saw Caldwell in the squad room not long ago if you want to speak to him.
Thank you, sir. We'll do that.
This way.
Harry, you got a minute?
Sure, Cole, anytime.
You've been working the docks robbery on the SS Coolidge?
Yeah, that's right.
So how do you see it?
Inside job. Either the guys working the wharves or some of the guys on the ship.
What else was taken apart from the morphine?
Case of BARs, case of Thompsons, crate of Valor smokes.
Homicide just recovered 3 BARs and a mountain of cigarettes at a shooting at the 111 Club.
No kidding. I better get over there.
Do you have a copy of the manifest?
Yeah. Here it is.
So, how do we connect the docks robbery to the mess at the 111 Club?
This is the crate we recovered. Here's our backroom arsenal from the 111 Club. Enough to arm 3 companies.
Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45.
You can drive.
Where are we going?
Can you drive to this one?
Fine. Where are we headed?
How well did you know the owner?
McGoldrick? Well enough. He was in my unit.
That's some cruel irony. You survive the war, then get blown to pieces back home.
It happens more than you'd think. Young guys trying to adjust to normal life, getting mixed up in the wrong crowds.
The kid had just bought a nightclub. I'd say he got mixed up in the right crowds.
Until someone filled him full of holes.
You don't come into that kind of money that quickly without pissing a few people off.
Take a break, boys.
We would like them to stay, Miss Lickman. We're making inquiries into the recent deaths of 4 musicians.
Since when have the police cared about dead black men?
Good point. We don't. What we care about is 2 tons of Army surplus morphine showing up on the street. If you care about working in this town, you better give me something on Biddleston and Bow, or their knucklehead buddies Tyree and Lamont.
And this is your idea of making inquiries, Untersturmführer?
I've told you 1,000 times about speaking that German gibberish at me, Elsa.
Roy! How about you get a drink while I see to this?
Will you sit down?
Why antagonize him, Elsa? You know what he's capable of.
Ask your questions, head officer. We have work to do.
People are dying of overdoses. If you know anything about it, you need to tell me.
I can't help you.
A lot of cats are into the thing. There's nothing special about your boys.
You can do this the easy way with me, or I can call my partner back over. I can assure you he's a lot less sensitive.
You think your threats frighten me?
Black man don't supply nothing. You think there's a black man in this town holding on to 2 tons of morphine? He'd be dead in a minute. White man supplies, black man buys.
My partner mentioned a couple of names. You recognize them?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't believe you. You knew these men.
And how would you like to prove that, detective? You're out of your depths here, detective, and you're asking the wrong questions of the wrong people. Boys, take 5 minutes, please. I need to have a private word with the officer. Why do you ask people to risk talking about a subject that could have them jailed?
Drugs are against the law, Elsa.
You're so full of courage, you have never felt ashamed.
This is getting us nowhere.
Do you think you'll win your war against narcotics?
It's not my war. It's against the law. My job is to prosecute the laws of this city.
Do you think you can stop people from needing drugs, detective?
I'm asking the questions here.
Then why do you come to me with your stupid questions? You know who controls the drugs in this city.
It's not enough to just survive, Elsa. You have to try and make the world a better place.
Brave words, and very noble. But words are just words, Cole Phelps.
She's right. We need to pay a visit to the mixer.
Cohen? Do you know where to find him?
This time of day? You'll find him holding court at the Macambo.
He can wait. There's something I need to be sure of. Give me till tomorrow morning.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do, partner.
It's all right.
Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
LAPD, we're looking for Mayor Cohen. I believe he has lunch here.
There's not going to be any trouble, is there?
Which table?
Number 3, if you'll follow me.
My acting coach
Sirs,
says I have really...
Mr. Cohen's table is this way.
My eggs were running.
Gentlemen,
I can't
Messrs.
decide
Cohen
between the
and
tuna
Stomp.
fish. LAPD. We have some questions
Hi,
regarding...
Mickey. How's it hanging?
Fine. Just fine, Roy. I see you brought Eager Beaver along. Hope he's not going to put the shakes on me again.
Cole Phelps, Mickey Cohen.
Good afternoon.
He has manners. Aren't you a little green for this kid?
Meet Johnny Stompanato, Cole. He has the biggest schlong in Hollywood and the smallest gun. Or maybe that's the other way around. I can never quite remember.
You're a funny guy, Roy. Haven't I always said what a funny guy Roy is? And how much fun it would be to get together with him sometime.
Poor Johnny. He's the dark, sensitive type. He's a serviceman too, Cole. Johnny was in Okinawa.
You were in the crotch?
6th Marines.
The lieutenant who won the Silver Star up on Sugarloaf. I've heard of you.
Something like that.
All right, have we finished flirting? You got something to discuss, Roy, or are you going to stand around beating the meat while my lunch gets cold?
We have some questions.
Do I need my lawyer?
Your brother-in-law, Lenny Finkelstein, was selling stolen morphine. He had 1/3 of the shipment.
Old news, kid. I don't know anything about what Lenny was up to.
Jack Dragna has you on the run. You're muscling the guys who stole the morphine from the ship.
You calling me a liar, kid? You think you can prove that in court? Huh? Nice try, kid. But you're gonna have to do a lot better than that.
We believe there's a link between a group of Marines and the morphine stolen from the SS Coolidge. One of those Marines was shot to death in a club last night.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
So you haven't heard anything about what happened at the 111 Club?
What can I say, kid? I'm shocked that in the land of opportunity, Uncle Sam's finest feel the need to resort to crime. It's a dangerous business. I can attest to that. I'd recommend they get out of the life. Quickly.
A few Negroes saying goodbye on the sidewalk will never make the papers, Mickey. But we had a judge in Pasadena say adios the other day. Prominent white people popping their clogs makes everyone nervous.
You know dope has never been my thing, Roy. It's always been for schmendricks like Jack D. and Jimmy Utley. But I'll ask around and I'll get back to you. Hey, you boys want some lunch? How about a drink?
We'll take a rain check on that. Come on, Cole, we're leaving.
We have to cut that dope. It looks bad with people dying.
We have to get the rest of it. There's no way of watering down the stuff in those little packages. You have to put the squeeze on those guys and get the rest of it.
They don't seem the type to frighten that easy.
We'll see.
Aren't you supposed to be working,
Sir, do you know which robbery detectives are working the Army surplus theft from the Coolidge?
Caldwell and McManus? I saw Caldwell in the squad room not long ago if you want to speak to him.
Thank you, sir. We'll do that.
I didn't come to California to be a secretary.
Advice?
Take a look at the manifest and see if we have a match.
I didn't come to California to be a secretary.
That bum took a swipe at me. I put him down with my sack.
I want to make homicide. I mean, you know you made it.
Mouthpiece tore strips off me at the grand jury.
He ran the light on Olympic, and we finally collared him on Temple.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence.
It's him, the cop from the newspapers. You look like you were a big pain in the neck. Now I have a much.
He ran the light on Olympic, and we finally collared him on Temple.
Well, this day was a total waste of makeup.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence. Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45. I want to put him down one round. Mouthpiece tore strips off me at the grand jury. Case got thrown out. Now the DA wants my head.
I'm at a loss.
Take a look at the manifest and see if we have a match.
Got me in jitters again. I want to make homicide. You know you made it if you can get that desk. I need a drink.
I didn't come to California to be a secretary. I'm gonna make him take me to the pictures tonight.
I want to make homicide. You know you
Mouthpiece tore strips off me at the grand jury. Case got thrown out. Now the DA wants my head.
Mouthpiece tore strips off me at the grand jury. Case was thrown out. Now the DA wants my head.
I didn't come to California to be a secretary.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence. That bum took a swipe at me, put him down in my sap. I got the jitters again. Guy gave me a plate of tap. Say
500,000 Surretts loose on the streets of L.A.
I'm gonna make him take you to the pictures tonight. I didn't come to California to be a secretary.
Parker or Green? I don't know who'd be worse.
So what next?
Take a look at the manifest and see if we have a match.
I want to make homicide. You know you can.
I'm gonna make him take me to the pictures tonight.
You're the reason brothers and sisters
Need a drink.
get married.
I got the jitters again.
I didn't come to California to be a secretary.
Guy gave his wife a tap. I said all's fair in love and war. Parker or Green? I don't know who'd be worse.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence. I want to get the inside. I mean, you know you can got that. Yeah, I'm thinking of moving up to a 45. I want to put him down to one round.
I didn't come to California to be a secretary.
Parker or Green?
I just don't know how to
Mouthpiece
dance
store
bebop.
strips off me at the grand jury. Case got thrown out.